Hi, I'm Jen Barnes, and you're about to experience how to ditch the old ways of doing things and build resilience so you can feel better in your body, enjoy your life again, and maybe even love nursing again. Welcome to the Resilient Nurse Podcast. Hey, I'm Jen Barnes. Pushing away your heavy feelings and instead just focusing on the positive or thinking positive thoughts is not going to help you feel better. In fact, it will actually make you feel worse. I get why you would think focusing on the positive would help you feel better. In our don't worry, be happy culture that, makes heavy emotions a drag or negative, where we just talk about, just think happy thoughts and things like that. Or, even in yoga cultures or spiritual circles, there's talk about manifesting by focusing only on the positive. We come by it honestly to think that this would work. But the problem is when we focus only on the positive, what we're doing is we're suppressing those heavier emotions. And that's it's like holding a beach ball underwater or trying to hold a beach ball underwater, right? You can do it for a while and it takes a lot of effort. But eventually that beach ball is going to breach the surface. And sometimes in the form of a water explosion. The same is true with our heavy feelings. If we keep pushing them down and just focus only on the positive, these feelings have a way of finding their way to the surface. It can look like angry outbursts or being short with people, depression. It even can manifest in like physical illness and pain. And so what the question is then is, what do we do instead? What do emotionally healthy people do instead? We consider our emotions as data, and we get curious and lean in to learn more about what that data is trying to tell us about our internal experience. It's like a part of us is saying, yoo-hoo, notice this, right? And so if we can turn towards that and see like, hey, what's going on that this emotion is coming up, we can actually find a way to live more resiliently. Yeah. And so how do we do that? Well, first, we have to notice that our feelings are there. And sometimes we'll notice them in body sensations. We might notice it in, just feel the feeling. Usually, though, that's more of a somatic experience of feeling it in our body. Sometimes we may notice it in our behavior. Like if we're angry, we might find ourselves yelling or maybe driving a tad erratically, or sometimes we might notice it in our significant others or other loved ones, right? If we're feeling angry and we're kind of on a rampage, they might start to look like this, right? And so there's lots and lots of ways we can notice our feelings, right? And then it can be really helpful to name those feelings and say, wow, you know what, like I'm feeling really angry right now, or I'm feeling really sad, or disappointed or frustrated. And so to really name that feeling and then lean in and get curious. Try and understand what that message is about. And sometimes that can take some time. I find journaling really can help get to that. Some people like to just sit in the silence or go for a walk, or even in the shower, sometimes those things will come to you, right? Like, what is this bigger feeling about? But if you lean in with curiosity, a lot of times you can learn what that data that the emotion is giving you is really about. Like, what's the problem that needs to be addressed? Once you understand that, you can validate the feeling. Like, well, of course I'm feeling angry. This is frustrating. Or, well, the healthcare system is broken and I just worked like 2 double shifts in a 3-day period. Like, I'm exhausted, right? I don't even know if that's possible. I hope not. Anyway, excuse me. And so it's like, wow, of course I'm feeling this way, or of course I'm feeling sad. My favorite restaurant is closing and that's really a bummer, or my cat died and of course I'm feeling sad. And so to just really validate those feelings as normal and natural and healthy, just messages from our body about how we're experiencing the world. And then we need to work through those feelings. And for a lot of us, that can just mean sitting with the feeling, maybe letting ourselves cry, letting ourselves be mad. For me, it often involves some kind of writing. I find that gets it out, just like free association writing, not like writing for grammar, not worrying if there's swears in it and stuff like that, but just getting it out on paper. Some people find talking to a trusted loved one can be helpful, but it's really important to work through the feeling. And then sometimes the last step is like doing whatever you need to do to address the underlying problem if there was one, right? And sometimes those problems, can be addressed by actually doing something, and sometimes it's by shifting a mindset, which is something I talk about in my programs, is how do we deal with those stressors out of our control. But for now, just know that this last step is like doing what you need to do to honor that emotion and the message it's sending you. So the hard thing is this isn't really taught to us, at least not in, as a Gen Xer, it certainly wasn't taught in my generation. And most of the clients that I see one-to-one in psychotherapy haven't ever really been taught this. And so we come by it honestly, right? But the question is do we want to keep carrying these heavy feelings around and have them, bopping up at inconvenient times through an emotional outburst or snapping at someone or feeling depressed or feeling pain? Or are you feeling ready to learn how to actually work with these emotions so that you can start to feel better? So if you feel ready to make a change, if you feel ready to start to feel better, I'm excited to announce that I have a 1-hour workshop coming up to tell you just how to use these steps. And we're going to meet on Saturday, October 11th at 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time over Zoom. And so if you're interested, make sure you click the link that's available to you, and I'll see you in there. Make sure to register, because even if you can't make it that day, you'll be able to get a replay after the fact. Take care.